Good afternoon. So now we're just going to go on with a presentation. This is interesting. And a presentation from Meon and a line with Norse from the work in Norfolk County Council. So my name is Russell Swarage. I look after the Project Highway Zero campaigns for Meon. Just so you know, that don't know Meon, so we're a business based in Portsmouth. We operate nationally. We also have an operation in Northern Ireland, in Uri, which is just on the north-south border. We work in self-living areas. So we're going to be presenting today about moving the needle. So some of you may have been outside to see some of what we've been demonstrating with the machines. But we're talking here, what's really driven us and motivated us is looking at what we've done in the UK for many, many, many years. And arguably, we became the best road markers in the world 50, 60 years ago. But what we have to challenge here is what's actually changed in the last 50 years. And to make those changes, we need to move the needle. We need to move our expectations. We need to change our expectations. We need to change the way we do things, especially when it comes to road marking technology. So just understanding where we're at. So you could say conventional road markings are good. They serve a purpose. They're a white line. You can see them mostly at night. But then what we want to do is challenge the thinking there and say, okay, what does excellent look like? What does an excellent road marking look like in your opinion? So we want to be having road markings that we can clearly see in multiple different scenarios. So where there's, especially the dark, wet nights, is when often we find road markings would disappear, and they don't need to. But the only way we're going to see that change is by moving the needle, moving the way we think, and moving the way that we do the application. So there's a roadmap, and we call it the roadmap to net zero because we've got those three objectives. So we've got first objective, safer highways. So we talked outside about zero harm. Then we have the right first time. So we want to be, when we go out and do road marking exercise of deploy road markings on our network, we don't really want to be going back to site anytime soon. And if we could stretch that return to site phase from 2 years to 4 years, or 2 years to 6 years, or 2 years to 8 years, what does that mean for you? What does that mean for anyone that's using your network or the network in your region? And the third point is on net zero carbon. We've all got carbon reduction targets. We've all got carbon reduction ambitions. We've all got carbon reduction long-range, if you like. So, but how are we going to get there? And when it comes to road marking technology, have we made any significant moves? And we can help you in making those moves today. But when you come to winning in our game, there's a phase process we need to go through. And this is a methodology. We call it the 3 Ps. So initially the first P is preparation, that is products, and that is placement. So preparation is about learning about what this technology is all about. And it's coming from senior management down to the guys on the ground. Need to know what you can and can't do with codified road marking systems, and learning about how to do the application. And then products. So we don't say one size fits all. We say there's a range of products. You should have a choice of what product is best suited to this high stress location, to this mini roundabout, to this pedestrian crossing, to these lane lines on the M3, for example. And then thirdly is about placement. So how are we going to actually put the material onto the road? In what conditions will we put it onto the road? And understanding if we push our road markers to apply road marking in all conditions, November through to February, there's a very high chance they're going to get early funded. Not because it's a bad product, but because we force them to make that application in those poor conditions. So that's the 3 Ps. So you've got the preparation, product, and placement. And we're learning from others. I mentioned outside, for those over there, where we've got some of this intel into how to deliver those excellent road markets, going from good to great. road marking technology. You leave the airport, go to Copenhagen, for example, get a flight that lands in Copenhagen at 10 o'clock at night. You drive out onto the road and you've got fascinating, amazing road markings. How do they do that? How do they do that in Denmark? They do it by using codified systems. What we've done is we've done many, countless hours, spent countless hours in Europe learning about what they do in Denmark, in Germany, in Switzerland, in Netherlands, where they've got high-performance road markings, bringing it back into UK, and we want to share it with you. Simon here, next week, will talk about what we've been doing in Norfolk in a moment. So it does require a change of outlook. We need to have that vision that we can actually remove our works on our road marking projects. And we can have an increased visibility of road markings across our network. It is possible, it can be done, and it can be delivered. And thirdly, we need to be using materials that last. But it's you that needs to make the decision to pay a bit more to have a product that lasts longer. It requires that collaboration, and this is the secret to success. So it's the asset owner, it's the material supplier, bringing it together to deliver a successful story. And that's what we found when Norfolk County Council came on board, wanted to do some trials, and then they said, no, we'll take it a bit beyond trials, we'll do actual schemes. We'll do 4 schemes on the Norwich Ring Road, and then there's actually another 2 schemes to go. And so I was going to talk through now a little bit about what he's found when we were doing those schemes. So over to you, Simon.
Good afternoon all. So we've been on a bit of a journey. We have locations around Norwich on our ring road that are highly stressed, and the lining was coming off quite quickly. So we were looking for something that would last longer, where we didn't have to go into the site. So we had the availability of surfacing schemes coming up around Norwich. So we looked at being able to apply the cold material as we went through. So So we wanted to increase the productivity, optimise my time visual appearance, because we were finding that a lot of vehicles could see the road and they were aware of quite quickly, and we want to apply to a new surface course. Now, our surface courses are a dense SMA, so sometimes it's more hard to get material stick to the dense SMAs because of the high binder contents. So one of the last schemes we've just done is a improvement scheme around the bay. We've relined the whole junction with the MMA. It's been down literally weeks now, along with the red materials. This is part of the ring road. So, this is one of the sites where I have a trial section of thermoplastic on. When we measured the limits on the site for the thermoplastic, we were getting between 16 and 28 millicandels. The MMA were getting 180 to 220 millicandels, so a lot of difference between one side and the next. This is the first scheme we did in Norwich, which we have a lot of problems with yellow boxes scrubbing. So, I was thinking, what must be my misunderstanding? So I've learned an experience. Yeah. You don't do MMA the same way you do thermoplastic. It takes a bit longer to go off. There has been more involvement in it. It's understanding your whole TM process. And we made mistakes on this one. We opened it too soon. We had a few problems, but we didn't give up. So we had other junctions to do. This is Coast Bypass. We did this about 4 months ago. On the left you see it by a material laid at night time. And this, I took a picture last weekend, literally, at that junction. You can see it's dark. The reason it's dark is because the main binder in our asphalt travels. So we're darkening it by the asphalt. It's not the line itself that's darkening. The plan is that we will continue to monitor all these sites. So the next number of years, but we'll test the limits of them every 6 months to see if the luminosity changes on them. I talking to a couple of people just before then. A lot of people have the same problem. They have junctions that just wear very quickly. And it's worth giving it a go. It might be a bit more expensive, but the lifespan of it is supposed to be longer. It's just a report we did for the limits, and I think, as I said, that we ranged from about 180 millicandles to 220, 230 in places. It's been really helpful, really useful. As I say, you have to learn. And luckily we've had Meon with us, and we've learned from that it's a two-part process. I don't know if you want to touch on that, Russell. It's a two-part process, so it's not just literally heating and lining. It's mixing cheap parts. There's a lot of tins, and I think you're looking at that. You take tins back, correct? Yeah, so there's things like that you need to take into account. It's literally, don't live in the road too quickly, I would say. Otherwise, you do lose some of the line. It's back to you again. Yeah. Yes. I appreciate it, Simon, and I think what really well. So from Meon's perspective, really, really appreciate the openness of Norfolk County Council working with us, and especially what we're getting there with those detailed performance reports on those regular return to site program, so we can really measure and monitor exactly what's happening on the Norwich Ring Road. I just really wanted to touch base here just briefly on the contractor's perspective. So you may have had an experience where you've tried to do MMA, you've asked for MMA, and the contractors were potentially pushed back. Now, it's not actually, in the contractor's defense, many of them haven't had much experience using MMA or codified road markings. So therefore, there's a hesitancy to engage in any significant scheme. However, we have been working with one particular contractor called Wilson Scott. They've done multiple jobs, and many jobs on the National Highways Network, and we work with them closely on the Norfolk jobs. And this is, as someone was saying, we've been learning as we go. We're learning and trying to get improvements as we go through. The new machine that we've just been demonstrating outside was a direct result of working that's actually with Devon in conjunction, as it happened with Wilson Scott. But the key thing here we want to mention is you talked about that reduced curing time. So codified road markings, you may have heard about it before. You've got that extended period before you can open to traffic. There's some to say, don't open too soon. However, now with our white longitudinal lining, with our Rapid-cure system, we've moved the needle. So we were 20 years ago at 70 minutes, 10 years ago at 20 minutes, and 2024 we're at 2.5, 3 minutes open to traffic time. Using this machine we've got on here. So it's a road marking bucket. Coming back to what I was saying earlier about learning from our European partners. This is where the technology has been developed. We're bringing it into the UK, and we want to share it with you to help you improve your network. These are some other schemes that we work on. So I mentioned Norfolk already. That's another junction there. We've also done some work on the A43 in Northamptonshire, again using high-performance road markings. And just looking at the clarity on those road markings there on the left-hand side of the screen. And now you have to ask yourself, why don't the road markings in my network look like that? Because they can do. So from today going forward, that can be your expectation for those excellent road marking standards that we should be seeing coming into the UK as we engage in it. And a big part is a change in the winning formula here is changing the way we deliver it. So we were taking the HGVs off the road. So reduce the number of heavy goods vehicles going around the network. And you would be surprised. So we did an exercise, this is with Devon, and we looked exactly how many miles road marking trucks travelled over a 1 year period in 2022. Hence 2022. And it was a significant number of miles. Every single one of those miles with heavy goods vehicle, every single one of those miles doing, 5, 6, 7 miles per gallon. Could be done in a vehicle that you're seeing on the right, a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter doing
25, 30, 35 miles per gallon. Significant reduction in fuel consumption, significant reduction in carbon emissions, significant reduction in damage to your network. Just by making a transfer to a higher performance road marking technology. It's a win-win situation. And there is a carbon story. So when we actually dived into this, is just looking at transport alone, looking at the change in the amount of fuel we're going to use over a 1 year period, demonstrating an 86% reduction in carbon emissions. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you. So we've just got on here on the screen, Project Highway Zero model. So the center of that, safety, durability, sustainability, is going to be, that's what drives all the decisions that we make. And then we educate in engineering development. So that's what we've been doing this afternoon. And we can jump on to CBD sessions and dive deeper into many different areas. We also can demonstrate whole life cost modeling. I'm going to use Devon as another example. 16% reduction in a 10-year life cycle modeling campaign. That can increase further going forward. And then helping you to calculate on carbon savings. So we call it transforming line marking for good, starting from today. And we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you very much. Any questions? Yeah. Any question, Andy? You can ask a question. Go on. Wait.
Right. Understood message. Back where you. Yep. Thank you.
I always understood that the retroreflectivity of MMA was less than thermoplastic. Is that not true?
Simon, go for it. As I say, we were guessing, really not depend on how many beams up the move with thermoplastic. And also how the beams are applied to the line in the first place. So at their fakers, normally the point of frying it. So as you apply it too late to cover this bench off, there's a number of places I've seen it where the beads are just laid all over the road and hiding behind them. So showing you to explain better, but it's in the MMA, it's in the mix, and there's haze and pipe, there's quite high pressure beans for application. Yeah, answer pressure, believe me.
So when you got, the question is then, so that historically some people have thought that MMA is not doesn't have such a high retroreflectivity level as thermoplastic. Now, the reality is what happens with the thermoplastic is you've got to build pre-mixed beads, which are going to be inside the thermoplastic. Thermoplastic is designed to wear down. On top of that, you have your drop-on beads. So as you put your thermoplastic line through, it's got pre-mixed beads in the material, drop-on beads going on top. Those drop-on beads on top will wear off quite quickly. Then you wait for it to rub the material down and expose those premixed beads, and you get an undulating retro level on a thermoplastic line. With MMA, you rely completely on the beads which are actually embedded in the top of the line. So you've got an airline material, and the beads will drop into the top. Now, the science behind this is the bond between the MMA and the bead. And we do that through specialist coatings on the bead and understanding what works with the MMA, getting the application dosage rate right, etc. If we get that bond wrong, those beads will pop out and the retro level will disappear. So that is where you get your low MMA retro level from. But if we go through the 3 Ps, the preparation, product, placement, get all that right, we'll get a high performance codified line that will last for a long period of time. As I mentioned earlier, for the M5, 230 millicandela after 2 years. Yep. Any other questions? Great, thank you for that.
Yeah, we're learning to put these in.
All right, someone to review. What's the cost differential between MMA and thermoplastic? Then what's the cost differential on whole life cost terms?
Yeah. So when you look at it, depends on how you look at this. So if you looked at the real cost of the material itself, so the real cost of material itself, you probably MMA per kilo is going to be maybe 5, 6, sometimes even 10 times as expensive. However, you're putting significantly less material on the ground. You're using smaller equipment. You don't have to have your big trucks, and etc., etc. So typically, at the moment, we're seeing an uplift of around 100, 110, 150% to make the shift from conventional road markings to cold applied on the first application. But where we don't have to do a return to site, so where the biggest cost of road marking comes from is in traffic management, planning, etc. So every time we miss a visit, it's directly into the saving pot. And when we did the modelling for Devon, we actually said, okay, we're just going to make an assumption that the cold applied will last twice as long only. And that is where we got we had 110% uplift at the front end, a 16% reduction over a 10-year period. But you have to invest to save. Any more questions? Good question. Take it.
Do that. Or
hello, I'm Lawson's at Council. Do you offer extended guarantee on MMA just as an incentive to encourage Carltons to use it? Because if there's no extended warranty, that might be a risk factor of why local authorities aren't willing to do it. That's, you use it as a material, especially with budgets being tight. Every pound counts and it has to be justified. So what incentives are also being offered apart from the theoretical dust savings to encourage authorities to adopt it?
Yeah, no, very, very valid question. And it's actually came out this morning. So I was actually with Cadent Gas this morning. We were looking at defects on armworks, for example, on that completely separate to road marking. Same question came up. Okay, what warranty do we deliver? Right now, we haven't got a warranty program that we can commit to. However, in something we're seeing with fairly that local authorities are asking us for, we're using authorities like what we're doing in Norfolk to help us gain the data to enable us to make those commitments. So definitely was just having this conversation with you about whilst it might not be a high-level warranty commitment, we can definitely do a commitment that the road markings will last a certain period of time. We can agree. Should there be any defects, we'll come and support for it right. So we definitely put that out there as a commitment that we will do, and we are going to work on that a warranty program piece. What we need to do though is understand exactly how we're going to measure and monitor the application process, because if a local authority was to ask a road marking contractor to do the applications in adverse conditions, then we need to understand that's going to invalidate any kind of warranty proposal. Yeah. So only something we can talk about. Now, any more questions? This is good.
Hey, we don't going to talk. And obviously,
So Tony, RMD Tony is just about. Do you want to have any word just
at that good sitting in place? They did options. Yeah, but sorry. So thank you very much. I've been in the business for 6 months, so probably like a lot of you out there, what our learning curve, just to understand the nuances and the differences. What I would say is that we recognise, like the comment you made earlier, we're on a journey here, and so with the help of Simon and others, what we're doing is putting products on the road for people to be able to see how it's applied, how long it lasts, what the strengths and what the weaknesses are. So we're looking constantly for more and more opportunities to engage with local authorities to be able to further develop that opportunity, to be able to put product down and for it to be tested as well as used in real life applications. So and what I wanted to also thank you was for your attention today. I've noticed that as Russell and Simon spoke, more and more people came to sit down, which is great. We're here today. We stand here, the stand outside. So if you'd like to know more, then you know where we are. So thank you.